I grew up in the Dutch countryside. I was always in love with the Dutch landscapes and I love to draw. So actually as a kid I already started drawing floor plans of like estates, and all my drawings were about landscape, how buildings fit within it. So it was actually a really easy decision for me when I was choosing my career to do landscape architecture as a study. From there onwards I decided to go study abroad in London, and I did landscape urbanism. So during that study it's actually really well linked to my culture as being Dutch, because we're really rational and we're actually designing landscape and we manipulate it. So we manipulate the way we treat water, we build dikes, and we actually live underwater in some areas. After my master thesis, I started working at West 8. This is one of the foremost known urban design companies within the world actually. So I had the great pleasure to work closely with the founder Adriaan Geuze, and he has a lot of he pushes and talks a lot about the actually cultivated lands within the Netherlands in the polders. So our projects are always really rational and functional in that office. And one of the examples that we did was Rebuild by Design. There was a project in New York after the post-Sandy hurricane, and we were actually, instead of proposing a simple solution saying yes, we're designing beautiful dikes to get the water out, we're actually trying to look further and understand how the water works, how the waves come in, and we do research with institutes, and we proposed actually barrier islands in front of the coast instead of proposing just dikes. So it's an additional system and understanding how water works. As a result, actually the dikes could be 50% lower as the original dikes. So the landscape and the urban spaces would improve drastically with this approach. Further projects I worked on were mainly urban design projects, and they're closely linked with landscape architecture. Public realm is always the driver of public and urban design projects. Also, we did a lot of waterfront projects and understanding how the coast is actually connecting the people with the sea. Studying at the AA, I actually met, of course, a lot of people from around the world, and this was actually great because stepping away from the Dutch culture, we started to understand cultures from everywhere around the world. So I became really close friends with a guy from Singapore, and he started to work in Dubai actually before I came here. And he was working here in the office Perkinsonville, and he asked me to join their team as a landscape architect at that time. And from that moment on, I just came here and I started working with this team, and we together did quite a lot of projects that are quite exciting, and we're pushing always with this landscape urbanism and ecological urbanism as a framework for every single project, understanding that the environment and the landscape is almost the driver of how to plan projects up to architectural scale. As a landscape architect and urban designer with this background of landscape urbanism, projects will always have a basic framework coming from the landscape itself. So we always study the city first, and the culture, and also the environment in the surroundings, and how we could connect the new community or the new project with the surroundings. So sometimes we also propose new things outside of the project site to enhance the whole connection. We will study as well, together with parametric tools, on how in certain areas topography affects the site. How could you play with the current topography to make it work better? Water, like also water management. How does the water flow over the site, and how can we actually keep it as stormwater and can be integrated within the public realm? So currently I'm working on two Emirati housing projects. So within this we're actually trying to really incorporate all these public realm and environmental aspects. So together with workshops with the municipality of Abu Dhabi and Al Ain, and also all the stakeholders, we're trying to always push for the understanding the quality of public realm and environment. Within the next 5 years, I'm still planning to work on projects that are closely linked to communities, and also trying to understand how communities can actually take over projects. So instead of seeing urban designers and architects as the they're delivering a finished project or a finished product, they should actually see it as a framework for a community to build upon. So if they, let's say if one project that we did in the design district, it's all about making it possible for a community to take over a space, almost like a public plaza or an event space, and then they will almost start creating an hub that people will start living around. And in this way, master planning could actually be changed so that it will function according to how the community wants to take over the space.